Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode here at Top Tier Talk. There was Premier League action this week, but more importantly, it's an FA Cup special, and we're going to be going on about the repercussions of some of the FA Cup results. And there was a lot of shocks. Man City were formidable against Chelsea. Manchester United progress, shock. Watford are knocked out at the first stage. And as I mentioned, there was a lot of shocks. But first off, going to go to Elliot and start like a preview. They're playing Oxford versus Arsenal tonight. So take it away, Elliot.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Just before, I'm going to go into a preview of Oxford versus Arsenal, and then I want to get into the Arsenal versus Newcastle game because that was annoying. But firstly, Oxford versus Newcastle. Going into this game, pretty confident. I've just seen the lineup. We're playing pretty much our second team, but we've got Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah starting, which is a bit shaky because we got Emil Smith Rowe on the bench, which I'm looking forward to because then it's what's his name? What's his name? Odegaard called him like Emilenkovic or something like that. I don't know, but he's back and he's ready to conquer the Premier League. He is back. He's ready, and I can't wait for it. So I'm looking forward to tonight. We've got Matt Turner in goal. I still think he's fantastic as number 2 to Ramsdale. Tierney at left back, another fantastic option. We've got Holding, who's doing his job well. We've got Gabriel next to him. Do you know what I mean? We've got a pretty decent little lineup, and and obviously it gets some minutes in Vieira's legs as well, which I'm pretty happy about. So as I say, I'm not really. I wouldn't go into this game saying like, yes, I'm not like afraid because obviously anything can happen in the FA Cup, as you can see over the weekend. Not the weekend. Well, yeah, the weekend just gone. Obviously, you can see that a few big teams have been knocked out. For example, Aston Villa against Stevenage. You would have thought that, but yeah. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping that we can go and get a win, but then obviously that means us going against Manchester City in the next round, which is a ball ache. That's for sure, because whenever that second round is, it'll be a very annoying round to handle because we'll probably have them in the league and then probably again in the FA Cup like Chelsea did just now. But yeah, like as I say, like I think FA Cup's a good journey to continue. Like as I say, get some minutes in our second team squad, and us, as I say, I'm pretty confident in our second team as well. So it'll be good to get them some minutes, and hopefully Smith Rowe comes on and gets some minutes in his legs to come back against Spurs as well. But yeah, but I want to move on to Newcastle versus Arsenal. Strange game. We played fantastic. We had real good fluid football. I think we didn't do anything wrong. I just think the referee was an absolute prat. Idiot couldn't actually referee the game. He handed out too many yellow cards too early, so which made everyone too cautious in the early minutes of the game, which is ridiculous. Newcastle were playing like Sunday league football, where they would just put 11 men behind the ball and just take anyone and everyone out. And I think we should have had 2 penalty calls that should have been penalties. Maybe one of them could have not have been. You can decide which one, but one of them's definitely got to be given as a penalty. But because it's Arsenal Football Club, it doesn't get given. I don't know. There's some sort of agenda against us because
There's
if
no
that was
agenda on it.
if that was
There's no
Manchester
agenda.
United or Manchester City, that's given. So
No, I don't think that. I think one of the pens, yeah, I give you the shirt pull, but
yeah,
the
that's what I'm
handball,
saying.
you're clutching at straws. You're
But this is what I
desperate
said.
because
Yeah,
you haven't got the win. Man City,
I just said
you
one of
feel
the
like you dropped
pens.
2 points. Yeah, one of them, but I
One
don't
of
know. I
the
think it's a
pens.
bit of a thingy to say it's the referee's fault you lost the game. I think
Referee was poor. I'm not
it's
saying it's his fault.
yeah,
I'm just saying
referee was
he was
poor.
very
I
poor
did
that
not.
game.
Yeah,
Very
Also,
poor. And
I,
sometimes
I
that
maybe
also don't.
sluggish.
it influences the game though sometimes when a referee is that bad because when you go ahead and see your teammates getting yellow cards for stupid shit like they got, you think, well, there's no point really like actually playing proper football now because he's not keeping the fluidity of the football going. Anything.
Mm.
If a player screams, oh, flag, do you know what I mean? Like anything that's not really considered a foul, if you can just see the game of football continuing to play on, regardless of if we can all see it's a foul, okay, pull it back, fair enough. But most of the time it's not a foul that needs to be brought back and stop handing out cards like it's no tomorrow. Like relax. Relax. And piss off back to
Mm.
training, become a referee again.
Also, on the flip side to that, I don't think a 0-0 draw against Newcastle is the worst thing in the world.
It's
Obviously,
not.
I know City caught up to you, but another clean sheet in the bag, and you didn't lose to arguably at the minute another potential title contender as it stands.
Loosely
No,
chance.
I just wanted to say that
Well,
there's a
yeah,
difference.
but as it stands,
There is a difference
Mm.
between us and Newcastle though, because fuck Newcastle, by the way, little prats, all their fans, fuck him. But basically, we went away thinking that's a loss to us, even though it wasn't, and they went away thinking it was a win to them because they
But can you
genuinely lost
blame
to
him
us.
though? Can you
Yeah,
blame him? Why can you blame him? Because I guess they stuck to their game plan and got the draw they wanted.
playing that type of football, I don't. Look,
We got them the
Win at
points, so I think they're the winners here. Win at all
know,
costs, draw at all
Yeah.
costs.
I think me and
Yeah.
Chavez can appreciate the good game of football where we actually enjoy watching players play good football. And Chavez,
I would still say it's a positive. Like the even no,
for
Arsenal
Newcastle, yeah,
for the
as a
time,
Newcastle, yeah.
yeah, for
But
them,
for
yeah,
us,
but even
Arsenal
for
fans, it's a
Arsenal,
joke.
you can look at it as from a positive point as well. Even the games that you're not winning, you play better than the other team, and you deserve to win. There's always a decision involved, so like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And this is why it's worrying. Like for a Man United fan, if actually forget about us, think about Man City, who genuinely have to win the title or in the title race. They're not seeing a bad Arsenal performance happen yet. It wasn't a 0-0 where Arsenal should have lost or got lucky to get the point, and it's never the case. So it's worrying that Arsenal aren't putting in a bad performance yet. So we'll see how it goes, but it's quite abnormal as well to see this much consistency. Newcastle, if it was any other team and you got a 0-0, I would still argue it's not a bad result. Because sometimes it happens against weaker teams. But this was Newcastle, and I mean we drew 0-0. Newcastle have beaten some big teams this season.
3-3 against
So
Man City.
yeah,
They
I
beat
think
us.
there is. Yeah, it's good. It's well,
It's
you're
just
not
annoying
happy,
though
but,
because that's a game that we could have
we are
won. Like,
very
we, I think us fans went into that game, and after that game played out, I think we could have gone. We could have
I
snatched
think it
3
was
points there.
sluggish at times, though. To be fair, I think there wasn't a much clear-cut chances as you think. But I do think
But
that was a
they
penalty.
did deserve to win.
Yeah, we deserve
No,
to win.
they
I
deserved
think,
a
in my
penalty.
opinion. Well, yeah, that could have won us the game though.
They
Do
could
you
have
know what I
won
mean?
a
Yeah,
game. Yeah, that's true. It's a lottery. Yeah, okay, then yeah.
that's
I
it.
do.
I would still praise Newcastle. I know it's not the type of
Yeah,
football we
yeah,
like to see,
look.
but Newcastle aren't like Barcelona, and they did the exact same thing against us, and we should have beaten Newcastle as well. Exact same thing. We deserved the penalty. We didn't get it, but they stuck to their guns. They're not the ones making the decisions, and they managed to defend out the two. Well, Arsenal are probably one of the most attacking teams in the league. They got a clean sheet, so fair play to them.
Yeah. No, I take my hat off to them, but I still fuck their fans. They're getting too greedy. It's getting on my nerves. But yeah, that's it for me for Arsenal, Dan.
I was going to say I'll move on to me. We beat Norwich 1-0 somehow. I don't know how. We had at the time 15 injuries. We've now got 16.
There's a smile on his face.
Well, I honestly don't know how he got a result. It was Vacuum Bio has got to be on the level of Andre Gray, the ability. But he scored the winning goal and he scored some crucial goals this season. So well done, lad. But yeah, onto the weekend FA Cup. As I said, our squad's decimated. Our whole squad, bar I want to say 3 or 4 players that travelled, have actually been in and around on the first team. Not even necessarily starters. The rest were literally the under 18s and under 23s that are actually in action tonight in the Youth Cup. This shows how little players we've got. It was 2-0 to Reading. It was 1-0 until at the injury time in the second half, and they bagged a second on the counter attack. Reading did deserve to win, and a loss, it's going to sound stupid, it isn't a bad thing for us because we can't afford any games. Realistically, we're not going to win the cup, so just focus on playoffs because we're not finishing top 2 either.
It's not that deep, is it really?
No, we're not going to win the FA Cup. As last time we got to a final was gives you PTSD.
Back in the day.
We stuck on an FA Cup game the other day. I think it was a City game yesterday. And I was like, "Oh, Pep Guardiola had a smile on his face anytime he mentioned 2019 to him." I was like, "I don't really need to hear it, lads. Like PTSD." But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hopefully, we get some players back soon or make some signings. But yeah, probably move on to you, Chavez, now with United. Obviously, the FA Cup, the 3-1 win against Everton, and obviously the Premier League games.
Yeah. Did we have a Premier League game since the?
Did you?
I feel like you did.
I thought you had one.
I feel like we
you have
did.
one midweek?
We had a game and we won 3-0, but I'm like struggling to remember who.
Forest.
I'm gonna go on my phone.
Forest?
It was Bournemouth. Okay, we beat Bournemouth 3-0, and then we proceeded to beat Everton 3-1. This is the best it's ever been on this podcast since we've started. I don't think we've ever been this consistent. There's just such a lack of things to complain about right now, and it's good. Everyone is performing. There's competition for places. So starting with Bournemouth, we won 3-0. This was a really good game to watch, but I don't think Ten Hag would have been super pleased with it because it was very open, and it was because we had Maguire and Lindelof at centre back, so we completely changed our back two partnership. But even with that, we kept a clean sheet because David De Gea was outstanding in this game. Casemiro was again just unbelievable. The man of the match in the game was Luke Shaw, who had been playing centre back 2 weeks for the 2 games prior, got put into his actual position and was man of the match again. He's been unbelievable post World Cup, Luke Shaw. So I don't know what's happened there, but and aside from that, Marcus Rashford is just He's the main man. I called him the main man last week, and I think someone complained about it. But that was only because of that game. But now he actually is. He's the franchise player of Man United. It's so strange that I'm even saying that, but it's finally happened. Man United is Marcus Rashford, like it was when we had, for example, Ronaldo represented Man United, or the main man, the main face of the club. That's him, and he has it though. So that was the 3-0. Then we went on to the next game, which was an even bigger shambles, but we still won. This was our worst performance. We beat Everton 3-1, worst performance in a few months. Really open game. De Gea suspected stroke to concede that goal. One of the worst blunders I've ever seen. But aside from that, again, that was also okay. This was Rashford's best performance ever. So he puts up an incredible performance on Tuesday. 3 days later, on Friday, he puts in his best performance in a Man United shirt ever. Every goal he played a part in. The rest of the team was shit. Martial's the most average player I've ever seen in terms of the last 6 weeks. I keep giving him a 6.5 on ratings, and he's so good at it. Like, he's so good at not being anything below it and not being anything above. He's the perfect definition of mid. Yeah,
he just doesn't do anything else, does he?
Yeah, it's so strange. He's just there. And so aside from that, Ben Godfrey, fuck you, mate. An idiot. That guy was getting on my nerves, man. I can see he's a very physical player, very physical, but he will one day kill someone on the pitch because his lack of technical ability, it translates into just more physicality, and he will actually mistime a tackle to the point where he will kill someone. Who was it? I think Donny van der Beek's now out for 6 months, so thanks for that. But aside from that, Lampard, I think it'll be soon come the sack.
Means the next
also, I was going to say, was it Godfrey? Was that his tackle not on Haaland the week before?
Yeah,
well,
the Haaland
minute into the game.
Yeah, it was good to see against Haaland, but I think he forgot that now the physicality's gone down. Like, not everyone is Haaland, so if he starts doing that to like next week, fucking Bukayo Saka will probably die. So he needs to, level it out.
He needs to relax a bit, prick.
In terms of transfers for you, Mr. Wout Weghorst is coming in to replace Midtjylland. What's your thoughts on that?
Midtjylland. If it's again the moment there's talks of it being permanent, the moment that happens, I will argue. But for now, if it's a loan,
why would you argue
if
it's permanent?
Because that's not a long-term signing, is it? Weghorst is not
like an Igalo signing
Man United. Yeah,
Wout
alone is great. He's a perfect stopgap. He fits the profile. Basically, some people forget. Like, we all know what Ten Hag's style of football is, but one of the things that stands out is he loves having a big nine, like a standing nine. Haller was a big example, and he's doing that again. However, if Weghorst was to stay, then it would be a bit of an issue. But aside from that, I think I'm not going to. Ten Hag hasn't missed yet with the signing, so I'm not going to question it.
He has missed, I think, so far.
Who?
I'd say Anthony to some respect. If you look at the price tag's been.
Would you sell Anthony if you could right now? If you're a Man United?
Depends how much. Well, no, not at this point. You're gonna have to ride it out.
Exactly. So it's not a miss yet. It's a miss the moment you say, actually, we should sell him.
Yeah, but then you could say, okay, then when we move on to Chelsea, I'm gonna argue the same thing. Yeah.
All right, we can do that.
Perfect.
But yeah, Felix was one thing, because we're going to talk about Felix for you lot. But in regards to us, I was going to say, if we just got Felix and that was it for our attack, that's not good enough, because we need an out-and-out 9. And Felix is not an out-and-out 9. And I think the type of club we are, if we did get Felix, we would have just ended up settling for that. That wouldn't have been good enough. So I'm cool with just Weghorst, if that's the one signing.
Yeah. Cool. Does that do Man United?
That's United.
Cool. Is it to the main event now?
Yeah. Well, it's main event.
Depression.
Depression. Yeah. Let's all.
The
sad faces
depression's
now.
gone. Go on. Look, El's ready now. He wasn't concentrating before. Now he's concentrating.
Come on then.
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Man City, double game week. First of all, in the Premier League, first half I'd say we were very, very good. Just missed the goal, and then second half the City squad, sarcasm, showed its greatness with Grealish and Mahrez obviously combining for the goal. I'd argue Kepa was at fault and Cucurella for missing the man and Kepa for not going the ball, but I'd say 1-0. It's not the worst thing in the world, to be honest. But we move on to, you can unmute yourself. We can chat if we want. FA Cup.
I'm just laughing.
Just a crazy thought. We've had Man City in the League Cup and the FA Cup, the best team in England. So imagine how. It's not rigged. It's just super unlucky is the perfect word for it. And in that game was an absolute crap show. 4-0. We didn't even show up. Piss poor players, piss poor performance, and like that's another one I'm forgetting with the 6-0 under Sarri's in the archive somewhere. That's forgotten. But yeah, what do you lot want to talk about? Is it Potter first? Do you want to start on, or is it the players or signings? What do you want to go on first then?
How shit your
What do you
club
wanna
is.
come
How
up
much do you? Okay, no. It all comes down to Todd Bowley. How much do you trust him not to sack Potter this season?
He won't sack Potter this season. I know it for
Potter.
certain. I know
Potter.
today it's come out that he's actually reduced his role. He's not in the director role because he's actually appointed obviously directors, footballing directors, sporting directors, etc. Not doing that role himself anymore like he was doing in the summer. So we've got actual people in place, experts that are obviously thinking through signings now, which is good. He also, I think, has also said, well, the Chelsea news page, I read that Potter's job is safe, and I do think that's a good decision. And I think if Potter was to go at any point this season, it'll be down to the fans wanting him out and the fans protesting, and actually Todd Bowley, because I think Todd Bowley sees a future with Graham Potter in a process. If you want to talk about that, and I'm
Okay,
team
so
Potter in, as you can see.
if
at the
it's
moment.
fans, then if on a general layout, how much % do you think want Potter to stay in? How much want him gone? Just from what you can see, fans wise.
Well, from yesterday's game, there were Tuchel chance, there was Abramovich chance. There's obviously an issue with the ownership and with the manager. I don't know percentage-wise, but I've seen way more Potter outs recently in the since the World Cup than before. So maybe it's a 40-60, maybe 50-50 at this point.
Actually, I
None of
think
your
they're
fans are
idiots, by
trusting
the
the
way.
process.
None of our fans
Yeah.
is because our fans are so used to success, and I'm one of them. They obviously follow Chelsea Football Club. They're very
So glory hunters.
you
Yeah.
could say not glory hunters, but they're people that expect success every year because that's what they've seen before. But they got to realize that sometimes that doesn't happen, and I've kind of just realized that as well, which is why I'm trusting this process.
Mm.
And I can see long-term success if we do keep Potter, than short-term success if we just get another big-name manager. And then the problem still persists, because I think the problem here is not the manager, it's the players we have. I think the players are very poor. They don't want to be here, some of them, and I think getting them out is the main big task for Potter.
I mean, I just wanted to obviously raise that point on your players. This isn't even actually a dig, but this is actually kind of the similar situation that Arsenal was in maybe, I'd say, two seasons ago when we had Alba, Lacazette.
Yeah. I completely
Do
agree.
you know what I mean? We had all these
You
players
had
who kind of didn't
piss
want to be
pools
there.
like Mustafi, etc. Yeah, and the problem with us is because we've spent a lot on these players. You think value
Expected, isn't it?
high value equals always good. We've seen that with some of these players that they don't want to be here. They don't play for Chelsea Football Club. If you see Ziyech's form for Morocco, it's completely different. The fight's different to Chelsea. It's like he doesn't want to be here. Jorginho's head, I think, is gone. I think he wants out, and he's been piss poor, to be honest, for the last couple seasons. And other players, I think Azpilicueta's too old now. He's obviously a club legend in my eyes. He's won everything, but his legs are gone. We need a right back, and I think a rumour has it that maybe a right back might come in as a inclusion. Aubameyang was a piss poor signing, so I want him out as well. Havertz has been so hit and miss, so I don't really care at this point with him. Mount needs to shake a leg. I don't want him out, but him asking 300k a week is absolutely
That's crazy.
He don't deserve 300k a week.
Just very quickly then, Amir, obviously, I know you're naming a few players that you don't mind who are leaving. Is there like a certain players that you'd actually be like, I want them to stay regardless?
Oh, of course there is. Yeah, the wing backs, the centre backs. I'm still willing to give some of the new signings a chance, like Cucurella, I think, Koulibaly, Kante, I want to say Kovacic. There are a few players there I still want to stay. Sterling, I think, will come good. But there's a couple of these players that I think just their time at Chelsea's up and we want them out. But I don't think it's on Potter because, look, we've had more injuries. Do you see Pulisic and Sterling getting injured as well?
Have they?
Add to the list. Yeah, in the first Man City game. So you can't really blame Potter for these because he's really, really short of luck, to be honest.
Okay, so moving forward, now you've said all of this, which is great, but João Felix, how does that make sense?
Of course it makes sense.
Wouldn't you say you need a striker, like an out-and-out 9, but you're getting someone who
yeah,
yet again
probably.
doesn't have a position?
I think we're going for more forward players, but I think João Felix will offer us something that maybe
you need Giroud back.
It's kind of similar to Havertz in a way, and in the 10 row in the pocket and stuff. So maybe he comes in there, and then I don't know really. But at the moment, all I know.
What's your front three with Felix and Nkunku next year?
I don't have a clue. Maybe Felix isn't here after 6 months. Maybe the loan deal fails. We don't know.
What's your front three now?
Our front three now?
Ziyech, Havertz.
No, yeah, right now based on injuries, but if our best front three is probably Sterling, probably Havertz in the 9 out of default. 'Cause it's not Aubameyang, and then maybe
Can I?
Pulisic. I don't know.
Can I?
What about
weigh in?
Felix?
Hopefully Felix comes in for Havertz.
Did you buy
or
Alba, by the
something like
way?
that.
Did you buy Aubameyang?
Yeah, we did buy Aubameyang.
How much was it for?
Can't remember. Don't really care.
What I was going to say, I think the best signing that Chelsea can make, because we mentioned it last week about Zakaria. I'm pretty sure his buy, his
He's
buyout
25 mil. I
is
definitely want that. He's one that's been very good
he's
for us.
probably the best signing that you can do for that amount of money in today's
Mm.
market. There's a
I'm
massive
gonna-
gaping hole in your team field.
Is the midfield's been an issue for you? Guys, I want to ask you, when was the last time Chelsea bought a midfielder? Do you guys, if you guys can think, who do you think the last midfielder Chelsea bought was, and what year?
I'm thinking Kante.
Was it Jorginho?
No. Well, we can't.
I
He
dunno.
came and bought, like out and out bought in the year.
2018, 17
Yeah,
or 18.
17 or 18. It was Kovacic on a permanent after the loan. So in 5 years, we haven't signed a midfielder. That's how much I needed Enzo Fernandez, and it's not happened, has it? It's collapsed.
Haven't you signed
That's it.
Zakaria?
No,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a loan. I'm saying
Oh,
bought,
is it, yeah?
like out and out bought reinforcement. So in 5 years, we've done a loan for Zakaria and a Sal loan. Do you think that's good enough for a midfield? A Premier League midfield?
It'll do, I guess.
It won't
It's funny
do.
though, Amir, because obviously at this moment in time, like let's say last season or the season before, people were actually scared to come up against Chelsea Football Club. They were like, "Oh shit, we got Chelsea at the weekend." But now, like this season, everyone's going, "Oh, all right, we've got Chelsea." There's no like fear anymore this season. There seems to be of like withered away. Even the 6-month period that this Premier League's been going on is just withered away.
Yeah, of course,
think
because
it's-
injuries don't help, do they? At all. When you don't have the best right back in the league playing and he's injured, what do you expect? When you don't have one of the best midfielders in the Premier League and
I think
Kante, what do you expect?
I think
When you
it's
say one of the best midfielders, Kante isn't that. He wasn't when he got injured.
Was.
He hadn't been for a year before that.
He was, bro. He carried us to the Champions League.
I was going to say it's
against
almost
Spurs, he was insane. He's
like
lost
an
a
art.
bit.
I think your fans were out with him. They wanted him gone.
No, trust me.
I think
Go on
it's
down.
almost like an Arsenal, or when you're going through transition, like an Arsenal or Man United were after Alex Ferguson left. It's almost like that you're aware that the teams are being torn apart. They're going through transition. They're going through
It's a
managers.
transition,
Tactics
yeah.
are different. Teams are looking at it, going, "Yeah, we can beat them." Then they're not like a sturdy ship. Whereas if you look at imagine like for example, I'll bring it back to Watford because we shouldn't be beating teams like Arsenal. Well, no, but this just because it's an example I can give. I can see you smoking there, Amir. When we beat Arsenal a few years ago, and it was a consistently we're playing Arsenal. We're like, we could get a result here today. But now, if we was going against Arsenal, we wouldn't have a chance because they're a steady ship under Arteta and they're actually playing some solid
But
football.
if you got to think that's taken such a long time for it to happen,
Yeah,
I think
that's what
our
I think
fan
it
base
is.
isn't as patient as that, which is the
No.
issue. It's just a bit of like we're a bit of a snobby fan base. Not snobby, but it's like self-entitled in a way.
Yeah.
Like, because we've had so much success in the last 20 years. Like, new manager will fix
You're
it,
entitled
but
to more success. Like, yeah.
You
we know we're
deserve
entitled
to
for
win stuff.
trophy every year. Yeah.
Do you not
And
think
I
you're
don't
not
think that-
operating like you've got the blueprint now of how teams do transitions? You've got the bad blueprint, which is Man United. The way we went about it after Sir Alex left, we started throwing money at players, overpaying salaries like Alexis Sanchez, and it didn't work. And then we sorted ourselves out with salaries. We kind of brought a strictness in, and we're doing it now with a 200k salary cap. Things like that. Arsenal, best example, Arteta, they're not overpaying like over the top for players. They do it smartly, but then they also get players for decent money and good wages. And now you've started this process by paying 12 million or something for João Felix and his full salary.
Yeah, but
isn't that like the exact mentality you don't need
I
in the
think that
dressing
is a
room?
good mentality because he's a player that Arsenal and United were after, and in fact,
But we didn't get him. We're the two clubs in the process, man. Where we went no, because we're not getting a player like that to come in.
You can't afford him, firstly, and I don't know.
We wouldn't want to afford him though. 11 mil for
No, I
6
think
months
we
isn't enough.
can.
In the Ornstein tweet,
but
it
it's
was
just
he
not
chose the
feasible.
Chelsea project, so there must be something there for him to choose Chelsea.
That's
If it was
wrong.
11, if it was an 11
Project.
mil loan
How
deal
is
for
it
a
wrong if it's
year,
from
then yeah, it
Ornstein?
makes sense. But it's not.
Is
It's 6
Ornstein
months.
wrong then, or what's your source then? He
No,
said the
but like
project's appealing. There is a project at Chelsea going on with all the young
I don't know.
signings.
how
young
could you
players-
possibly say that?
Because I
forget
can
about
see
Man
in the
United.
summer. In the summer, we've
How could the Chelsea project be more appealing than Arsenal?
signed so many young players. We're still signing young players as well. It is
No, but
appealing,
like
though.
from Felix's position as a
Just 'cause
Chelsea
it's
player
your-
now, he's going to
then
say that.
that's something you got to ask him. Maybe the salary's more
Yeah, I'll go
appealing
ask
at
him.
Chelsea or something.
But
But
the simple thing is, there was a 12 million tag, and Man United and
But
Arsenal, who
no,
are in a
but
process and know what to do now financially,
we
didn't pay it, and then Chelsea just did it.
we bought him for less than the asking price, so it's not just dishing out money. We obviously negotiated and we got him for less than
Well,
what
the
he
asking
wanted.
price was like 15
Ridiculous.
million plus.
Six
Yeah,
for
I
a
think
months
we
as
loan.
got it for like 11 point something. So it's like 8
But
million
even like,
pounds.
I
or
don't see Man
something.
United or Arsenal. Maybe I would see Man United doing that like
Well,
5
Man
years
United
ago.
were after him
But we're
as
not
well.
desperate for players. We want
You
players
are
to come to
desperate
us who
for
want to
players.
play for us, not for the
You are
salary.
desperate. I think you are
No,
desperate.
we're not. We're
because
getting Weghorst because he's desperate
That is
to
a
come to
very
us.
that's a desperate signing from
I'm
your
here.
end. You
I'm
need
here,
a
I'm here.
number 9. It's
How is
desperate.
Weghorst? He wants to.
It's like a Nicolo V2. It's such a short-term.
I'm here.
He was with Burnley last. He scored 2 goals or
But
something in 17 games.
If Weghorst
Nonsense.
doesn't
doesn't
go to
matter.
Burnley, if Weghorst doesn't go to Burnley, he does what he did, and then he moved around to the clubs and went back to where's he at now?
He was a
Because they've been
Turkish.
Besiktas.
You're
He's
saying
had
a
some
player for
Turkish
Turkey.
Besiktas, that's who it is.
You
And
think that's
he's been playing all right. If he hadn't have gone to Burnley, people wouldn't have turned their noses up at it. It's because he's been at
I
a club
still
like
turn the
Burnley.
nose. No, it doesn't. No, because we saw him how crap he was for Burnley.
I'm here. I know
What?
you're Potter in. But let's say, for example, Thomas Tuchel is in a meeting
No,
with Todd
Thomas
Bowley.
Tuchel's done. Thomas is done. I don't want
Really,
Tuchel
completely
anymore. It's
gone.
done. It's done.
Well, if the
Never
option was
again.
there, you wouldn't take him back.
No, I wouldn't. Not at this point. No, it's done. Listen, you guys think of it in a business aspect with Todd Bowley. You're the owner of a business. Your manager, his views, his objectives is not aligned with yours. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do what you want to do. Are you going to keep him on as a manager?
Yeah, but then the rest
No.
of your employees want him.
It doesn't. How do you know the rest of the employees? Did you think they were playing for Tuchel by the end of the?
No.
by the end of it?
Well, I didn't mean employees as players. I mean employees as fans. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like the rest of your
course the fans
want.
want it, but you look at your business. You care more about the business. You're the businessman. It's your money.
Well,
If someone's not
Last-
aligned, if your
I
objectives
just
aren't
have one more
aligned with
question.
you,
Going back to the thing, because you've kind of, because you're a Chelsea fan, I guess now Felix is coming, so you have to back the decision, and you've
I backed it
downplayed Man
anyway.
United getting.
I backed it anyway.
You've downplayed Man United getting Weghorst. Can you categorically tell me that João Felix is going to outscore Weghorst in the Premier League in these
I
6
don't
months?
know, bro. I don't know. I haven't seen. I
But
know.
don't you
João
think
Felix-
he should? He should score 5 to 10 more goals than Weghorst when he's
Why
been.
should he
You
do
paid
that?
money for him.
Why should he?
You've
do
paid
that?
10 million plus, and
8
he's
million.
one of the
It's
best
8
in the
million.
world, right?
£8 million. Yeah.
No, you haven't. You've paid-
No, it's
okay,
It was
11
£8
million.
million.
11 million.
Pounds. It's euros.
Okay,
doesn't
8
look
million
in euros.
pounds. £8 million for a loanee, and it's João Felix, who's one of the best talents in the world. Don't you think he should outscore Weghorst by quite a lot?
I don't know because he's not an out number 9, is he? Maybe that's maybe it's more.
No,
of a
but he's a
creative
forward. You've described
He's
him
a
as a
creative.
forward.
Maybe in the creative aspect we can see
Shabez,
that.
wish.
It's not
Okay,
wish at all.
okay, let's take away goals. Do you think João Felix should have a better 6 months than Weghorst at Man United in the coming?
Depends on the other reinforcements Chelsea bring in.
But why is this even a question? Because then why didn't you just go and get Weghorst?
we're in an injury crisis and half our players don't want to be here. We still gonna. I saw still a right back might be coming in, a midfielder and a wide forward.
No, but I just mean the two. I don't understand why Chelsea don't go for Weghorst as well.
Why do we need Weghorst though? What is Weghorst?
But then exactly because you think he's not good enough. So shouldn't Felix then have a much better season?
It's such a cheap
Why
Glazer
aren't you
signing.
confidently saying it?
It's
here?
so
Dan,
Why aren't you confident?
Dan, don't you think
why
they
aren't
should
you
sign Troy
confidently
Deeney?
saying? Why are
Yeah,
you
he's
confidently saying that
saying
Felix
that,
will have a better
sorry.
season than Weghorst?
Because we're not on form as a club, so I don't know. Maybe that will fizzle out to him as well. I don't know. Do I?
Okay, we'll revisit
It's a
this
very
when
si-
Weghorst has so many more goals.
I just very quickly want to.
Like I can categorically tell you he will. Like it's so obvious.
That's cool
Felix
for
is
you.
literally
That's cool
coming
for
into
you.
a new league on loan. Like a player like Felix needs a year to settle for starters. He's not going to adjust to the physicality straight away.
Let's see.
And he's
if
a 6 month
you're
loan.
right. Let's see
And
if
they
you're
paid
right
money
about
for
it.
him. And
Yeah,
he's
we
on
have.
astronomical wages.
And by the way, it's two players that you two were very keen on. You couldn't afford, and you obviously picked Chelsea over Arsenal.
It's not like the case of affording though. It's just
It's not,
stupid
yeah, but
money.
a player like that,
For you, it's not.
one
For
mistake.
you,
No,
it's
no,
them
no,
picking
yeah, but for
Chelsea
Chelsea, you're
over
forgetting
Arsenal.
Shabez. For Chelsea
picked
Football Club, they're
Chelsea-
paying 125
No.
million for Enzo Fernandez after one good fucking tournament.
Think
You're
of
forgetting this is
Arsenal
Chelsea
right
Football
now.
Club.
But we're not forgetting the fact that after 6 months of bad form, Arsenal fans are so gassed they're wanking off of the fact that Chelsea are doing bad after 20 years of bad
Yeah,
form for them.
you're doing bad
20,
for the first time, and
20,
yes,
for the
we're waking
first
off
time,
to it
Amir,
because it's finally happened. Correct, dickhead.
And we're back
Amir,
next year. You've been 20
let's
years
say-
of
Next year.
nonsense and crap.
Back in
20
4
years of
years.
crap. 4 years.
Mate,
20
let's say
years
Arsenal-
of nonsense and crap from you. Carry on.
Most
Amir,
decorated.
Let's say
domestic cup.
Arsenal we know we can agree
Domestic
Arsenal's
cup
dressing
funny
room right
when you
now is
see
probably
Arsenal.
great vibes, right? Great energy. It's probably the best dressing room to be in England.
Oh yeah.
Imagine they get a player like João Felix, who's just on more wages than half of
And
them.
what's
He's a
crazy is
6-month
João
loan.
Felix
It
picked
ruins
Chelsea's
everything.
project. It picked
just
Chelsea's
ruining it.
project over that.
Chelsea's project is
Okay,
to
so you believe
spunk
that?
about
I do
400k on
believe it.
like
Of course I do,
wages on
'cause it's
every
come
player
out.
they have.
What? There is no
Come out.
project at Chelsea.
There is a Chelsea. Are you at fucking Chelsea? You don't have a fucking clue, do you? You don't even know about
Well, the
bloody
project is being
Weghorst's
10th.
2 goals in 19 bloody
Project is
games or
spunk
something.
as much money as you can on them.
The project is
Yeah,
he picked
project
us
is
over
player
the
is
number 1 in the league.
available. Let's pay the
Fire,
amount for
yeah.
the player.
Yeah.
And do you know what I
Picked
mean?
us
You know
over
why
you.
that's the
Picked us
case? It's
over you.
because you've got no scouting plan. You
Your
don't
scouting
You
plan's
have a
scout these
terrible.
scouting
players.
plan. What's your scout? Wout Weghorst. You're trying to come at Wout Weghorst.
Weghorst is better than
Nonsense.
Yes,
Bobby
that's
Felix.
it's a
He's
beautiful
better than
profile
Felix.
for what we
He's better
need.
than Felix.
He's a
Look at
10
this
hole
guy, man.
profile.
Look at this guy. Better than
He'll
Felix.
he'll
No.
out
In the Prem, probably.
fronts.
In the
Let's
pen.
see. Let's see. Let's see then. Let's see.
As a loan,
Right.
yeah, he will.
Let's see. Let's see. I think Felix will have a much bigger impact than Wout Weghorst.
Finally, thank you. I just wanted you to
There
say
you go,
that.
yeah.
Now we can, we revisit this in 6 months.
100%. We will revisit
you.
it, and we'll revisit the fact that Chelsea Football Club next season will be back. Potter's back. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And Arsenal going to
Is this
bottle this league, by
sarcasm?
the way.
Is it
No,
sarcasm?
what sarcasm?
Yeah,
20
you should say
years.
it's
Imagine
sarcasm in 6 months.
6 months. It's crazy how highly
The
you lot
original
think
ghosts
us.
of the Premier League are coming back to the
Original
fucking
ghosts.
glories.
United are the
Manchester United
original
and Arsenal,
ghosts.
they're back in their rightful
They're
places
not
in the Premier League.
United aren't back, and you're barely back, mate. It's one season.
What
Let's
do you mean
see
barely
some
back? We're top.
consistency.
You're barely
Consistency.
scraping against single-figure digits in the league. You're 10.
Listen here.
Felix has
1-0.
projected the 10th project.
Chelsea Football
But-
Club will be back, and Chelsea Football Club after this season, the transition period will be
The
up.
transition
We'll get
period.
the
Yeah, the transition
midfielder.
period will be for 4 years, mate.
Let's
so-
think of it. United
4 years, 4
wanted
years. It'll be for 4 years. It'll be
Gakpo fucked off to
Yeah, Gakpo,
fucked
do you
off
want to
to
join
Liverpool.
your bookie club? Yep.
To Liverpool, so you don't have a clue what you're talking about bringing Chelsea into it. Felix as well didn't want to come to you. There's so many players snubbing United. No one wants to go to United.
Yeah, but look at them. Where are they in the table? It doesn't matter if they don't want to go
What do
United
you
or
mean,
not.
where are they in the table, man? You're
Who cares?
first in the table, and João Felix picks us. The crammy 10th team.
Yeah, if someone
Crazy.
said to me,
Think
"Oh,
about
here's
it.
Oh my
sets
days.
it for like 400k a week,"
Levels.
and then someone
You
else
do
would have
it,
offered
like,
you 150k a week.
Do you know
I'll
the
be like,
same sources saying that Chelsea are about to get Felix are the ones that said Man United had first choice on Felix, but we said no because we're not going to pay that.
Where Man United and Arsenal are actually smart clubs.
How are you
Yeah,
smart
financially we have
Financially,
people
we
involved. I
actually
mean,
have a
you said it
brain. We
yourself.
have a brain.
You don't have people
You don't
involved
have a
right now that are
brain. You think
footballing
João Felix is
people.
a bad player?
No, I'm not saying he's a bad player.
No,
I'm just saying he
no,
chose the more
he'd be an
money.
unbelievable loan.
Yeah,
but
he just chose more money.
8 million on a loan.
We'll see. Chelsea Football
8
Club.
million for 6
is
months.
in
Do
the
you know how mad
transition
that is? That
period.
salary.
That's okay. You're not paying for it. I'm not even paying for it. Why does it matter the money?
So that's
heard
not
that
a transition, Amir.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
not a
what-
You don't
transition.
transition like this.
It is
Yeah.
a transition
Especially if
period.
manager like Potter. I bet you Potter knows players that are so much cheaper in lower
Oh, I
leagues
bet
or
he
even
does,
Brighton.
I bet he
or-
does. Why don't
And
you
you're not
tell
getting
them?
them.
Why
You're
don't you
getting him
speak to
João
them about
Felix.
it?
What's he going to do
Listen,
with him?
What's he going to
João-
improve in your sim?
I
What's
saw
João Felix going to
rumours.
say to Graham Potter when he sees
Yeah.
him on the pitch? Or
He's
on
gonna
I
say,
own you.
hello.
No, you
What do you
won't.
mean, I own you? What's he going to say?
Felix,
I
But yeah,
own you?
Felix
he's
will feel
he's top.
superior.
He
All your
walks into
players
that
probably feel
club.
superior
He
to
walks
the
into that
manager.
club for
The
as the top
dynamic is
earning
toxic.
player in that club
Yeah,
for 6 months.
He's the top earning player in that club in 6 months.
he's probably
For
up
6
there. But the
months.
thing is, your players
For 6
probably feel
months.
so superior to the
Absolutely.
manager.
Yeah, they'll probably be like, "How's he walking in here earning that
That's
amount
why
of
we
money
need
for
some
6
of these
months and then
players
going,
out, by the way.
disappearing?"
Any player that thinks they're above the club, and I said before, needs to go out of this club. And another thing,
João
before
Felix
we
hasn't
go
even
on this,
started
I
yet. He's
saw
already
that-
getting
I
him out
saw
of
that-
Felix hasn't started, he should, yeah.
And I was talking about João Felix. You just turned twist me. Let me finish, by the way. Last thing. You lot say Chelsea throw money around. I saw that Arsenal have been given the green light to try and sign Declan Rice rumours for about 100+ million. So you can't just talk
This
about
is a
us
waste
just
of
trying to
breath
buy
because
the-
it's rumours. It hasn't
It's
happened.
rumours, yeah,
rumours.
exactly.
It could happen though. It
If
could
we went
happen.
into the
Look,
rumour mill, Man United want to sign everyone.
Yeah,
Man United
Fernando
want to
like
sign
Messi
everyone.
next
You're not
season.
though.
Yeah,
You're
and
not. You've
Mbappe.
got
Elliot next season. We need
Wout.
back
Yeah,
to
oh,
Rashford.
yeah.
Let's finish
Chavez,
on
you'll come
Wout.
for Arsenal.
Let's see Woot. This is nonsense now. Let's finish on Woot. Dan, do you wanna end this now? Woot Weghorst is absolutely
10th
Shaq.
place.
Igalo.
I just sat there for about what I leave on you now. No, I just sat there watching this unfold. It was brilliant.
Chavez, very
Brilliant
quickly before you start, Dan, I just want to say, Chavez, are you
but
enjoying
no,
this
I-
Chelsea downfall?
It's a 6-month downfall. It's nuts. That
Yeah,
6 months is
absolutely.
getting you
Yeah, it's
lot
great,
so
isn't it?
hyped.
Like,
So highly of us. Let's see what you do, Elliot, because I don't think you're winning the league.
And the
Drew
thing
against
is,
Newcastle.
I think the best thing will happen and Potter will be sacked, and that is the incorrect decision. And they'll do it because they
and
won't
they'll
trust
do
the
it, yeah.
person.
Let's see.
No,
The only way,
they'll
Listen to
sign
me.
Enzo, they'll sign João Felix,
Potter-
they'll sign
Potter
like
will
all
get
these
sacked.
The
players.
moment
they'll
Chelsea
still
sack
finish
Potter,
like
their
11th
club
or
is
10th, and then
finished.
Todd will
They're
back, right,
finished.
new manager in now, yeah.
Yeah, they're finished the moment.
Let me
he's
sign
sacked.
Ancelotti or something like that, like one of the big managers,
Yeah.
because I got the money to do it.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with Premier League action, and hopefully Chelsea have sorted out the mess and not wasted more money on loan signings. Cheers.